Hey everyone, Chris here with Santa's Laser Engraving. Just wanted to start off this video with a little background about myself and how I got into the laser world. Was born and raised in North Carolina, lived in Rutherford County where Hurricane Helene devastated so much of Lake Lure and Chimney Rock and really all of Western North Carolina. Was a volunteer firefighter with Hudlow Fire and Rescue for 20 years. And while I was living there, I began in some woodworking and joined the club there in the county. Was the president for a few years. I'd even made a few jar and votive candles and sold those at the craft shows. 3 years ago, my wife and I moved to New Bern, North Carolina, which is about 45 minutes from the Atlantic Beach. My background starts in engineering as I graduated from Western Carolina University with a bachelor's degree in engineering technology. This degree focuses on CNC type machine, 3D printing, design, processes, quality control, basically all facets of any kind of manufacturing. My career, though, has been in civil engineering, using AutoCAD Civil 3D for the last 25 years. Prior to that, I'd even worked for a survey company in their design department in modular home manufacture. So, all in all, I've been using AutoCAD related products for about 30 years. Um, Another thing you might notice is that I am a professional real bearded Santa here in New Bern. This passion came from both growing up with a single mom who, regardless of our situation, always tried to make Christmas time very, very special. It's where my love of Christmas came from, and now having the ability to take a child and give them a chance to forget all their problems and enjoy the moment is one of the greatest joys for myself and my Mrs. Claus, Tracy. So naturally, my laser engraving business had to be Santa related. Um, I got into laser engraving by a combination of still enjoying the design process for manufacturing, the love of woodworking, and honestly, a friend from since elementary school had purchased one, and seeing some of the items that he was creating really had sparked my interest in possibly getting one. So I began to do like everybody else does when they decide to go into the laser engraving world and looked at all the types online, read all the articles, did everything I possibly could, found out what they could produce, and of course, how much each of them cost. I started like most people in my garage when I first got my machine. After looking at all the different choices out there, I did choose the Monport 60 watt CO2 laser with the 28 by 20 bed. So I'd have plenty of room to experiment with the engraving different types of products. And the cost I thought was reasonable to start experimenting with the laser, and autofocus feature I considered a nice bonus as well. I'd have to say overall the machine's well made for the price point. I was able to plug it in, make a few minor adjustments to the mirrors, and try my first laser engraving. Now, this is my current layout in the garage. When I originally bought the engraver, I purchased the Monport rotary and the Monport chiller, the CW5200. As I began working with the laser, I began to see some of the issues that others had had with their machines. Not just this, but it seems like all the machines that come directly from the manufacturer. The air assist is not very powerful, and the exhaust would not pull enough air out of the cabinet. So, like many of you, I had to make some upgrades. Like I added this California air compressor in place of the air pump that was included with the machine. The muffler on that is installed to make the noise level very minimal compared to a normal compressor. And this setup allowed me to control the amount of air coming out of the nozzle with increased airflow from the compressor. So it pretty much eliminated any burns that I was having, big flame ups or anything like that. So that was very helpful. The original fan on this machine was only rated for 150 to 170 CFM. So I also upgraded with this AC Infinity 6 inch that can produce up to 402 CFM full speed. That made a tremendous difference in the smoke removal, both from the laser cabinet itself and eliminated odors from the machine. I got most of my initial information, like everybody else that ever buys a laser engraver, from various YouTube channels out there. Plus, it refreshed myself on some of the things I had learned in college and just plain old trial and error. I think trial and error is probably the best teacher that you can have. You continually make mistakes to get better at it. So I've had the Monport 60 watt for about 5 months now, and it's worked out really great. Little did I know how involved I would become with this new endeavor. And fairly quickly, the garage began to fill up with shelves for storage of materials and finished items. I also worked on creating a website and just opened the store portion with a few items yesterday. And we'll be starting some of the craft shows pretty soon, I hope. So, with all that in the garage, Miss Claus finally said, You need to get out of the garage. So, you can see here I have a 10 by 16 Santa shop that's arrived, and I'm working on setting that up right now. You can see here I've began to put some wire and electrical boxes in. So, once the power is run to the building, I can begin the process of moving everything over and hopefully start shooting some videos from here instead of from my office. So, I'll try to film some of that progress for future videos. Finally, these videos I'm shooting using my phone, so the quality may not be the best. And I'm no expert, but wanted to start this channel to show some of my successes and failures that I go through learning this machine. And hopefully, as I plan at some point to add a fiber laser to work on metals, we can go through that process as well. I hope to also dive a little bit into the machine coordinate system and maybe some of the design aspects. So if you're starting out well and you have some suggestions or some things you'd like to explore or like me to explore, please like and subscribe this, and so we can enjoy this adventure together. I know this was a short video, and this being my first, I'm sure we're going to have many more short ones before I get this down a little better. But I hope that you enjoyed this first one, and I hope you return soon.